All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is September 4th. We're taking a look at NQ expectations, a little bit lighter for today. We do have NFP tomorrow. And as always, anytime you are one day out from what is expected to be a major market moving event or some tier one data print, some data print with higher importance, typically that is going to be a slower session. Now, not every time, it's not an absolute, right? But typically that is kind of an approach and a rule that has kept me out of trouble over the years. So typically what I'm going to do on a day like today, pre NFP or pre FOMC, anytime, we're ahead of some major print, pre CPI, think of days like that. The goal is just to take it slower and really, if it is going to be a solid day with solid volatility, solid price action, solid volume, let price action actually prove it to you. So come in with low expectations. And then if price actually shows you some good action, if volume is actually there, then we could say, okay, expectation was a little bit off. We can stay flexible on our expectations. But that's kind of a baseline approach that has really helped me and really kept me out of trouble over the years, just to avoid chop, avoid slower, less favorable trading conditions. So that's top of mind this morning. The other kind of thing I'm going to be looking at here is how price responds to 23,500. Right in this area of resistance, right through here, you can kind of see near term resistance. You got prior day high right in this area as well as a previous area of support looking back a couple of weeks. So we know price has responded to this zone. Notice how it's a zone. Price has responded to this area quite well previously. We'll see what kind of response we get in this same area today. So if sellers are able to show some rejection here at 500, what I'll be doing is I'll be number one, waiting for overnight low to trade, wanting to see how overnight low is going to be treated, which is down here at 23,431 with prior day volume point of control right through there. And then if buyers have no interest in this area, really we're going to be looking at 370. Currently price is already below 500. So that's the direction that I'm leaning as of right now. Looking at either overnight low, potential spring setup down there if it looks good. Otherwise, staying hands off until that 23,370 area. Now, if we see a little pop off the open, some action above 23,500, I want to see how this entire zone is going to be treated. 23,500 prior day high, overnight high. And if buyers can successfully show some acceptance above this area, really where we can go is up into 650. So that's the game plan. It's all going to be kind of hinging on how price responds to this area right through here. As of right now, showing a little bit of a rejection from that area, right? If we go back to our higher time frames, go back into the hourly chart, yeah, you can see some rejection right through there. Now we do have a 9:45 a.m. print and a 10 a.m. print. So a couple of landmines this morning that we want to keep an eye on. A couple of things to watch for. 9:45 final services PMI and then 10 a.m. ISM services PMI. Then tomorrow the big one, NFP. NFP tomorrow. So let's see how we open up. We got about 4 minutes till the open. Taking a look at the daily chart, you can see the structure is just sideways range. Sideways range, neutral backdrop since about late July, range bound. All right, 2.5 minutes till the open. As always, the goal, the job for today is just to wait for our A plus setup, wait for that A plus opportunity. Remember, less is more. Fewer high quality setups. It's going to make you more money than frequent lower quality plays. So we want to have the patience and the discipline to really wait and execute those higher quality setups. That is the name of the game. Now, if you don't know what your A plus trade is, or you haven't taken the time to actually define it in an objective way, not just what you think, but objectively speaking, what are the components that make it an A plus play? You need to do that. That's going to help your game immensely. All right, a little uptick in volume here as we get into the open. Two seconds. Let's see this open right here. There it is. Sellers right off the open. There's prior day close. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. Pretty much no gap. No gap this morning. Just sitting right here on prior day value area high. And again, we want to see that reaction at 500. There's 23,500 being tested. Good volume off the open per usual. Session volume point of control right in that area as well. And we're seeing a push into prior day high now. Prior day high, 525. So a little push up through prior day high, a little look above prior day high. Let's see how this area is going to be treated. ES opened right above prior day high. Nice little push there on ES. And here comes that overnight high for NASDAQ. Overnight high 535. Still cash personally. Got a nice push off the open up through 500. Now testing that overnight high. Sellers giving it a shot there. The overnight high up thrust. and almost back down into 500. 500. There's your true test of 500. Session volume point of control right through there as well. So this is where I'm curious to see if buyers step in to defend that 500 area. Looks like no so far. Looks like a big rejection so far. Let's see. Don't forget we still have that data print 9:45 and 10 a.m. Yeah, it was a good up thrust there on the 1 minute. Nice up thrust. Yeah, so this is what I want to see here. This reaction of 500. 23 500. Seller's going to step in here with a little lower high. Session volume point of control still right in that area. Session low just beneath 457. RTY on its own again today. Nonstop. And Q coming into session low. Give that one a little try right there at 500 for a full stop. It was a worthwhile attempt, if you ask me. See how this data print looks in about 3 minutes. So, like I mentioned at the before the bell, if we see that big rejection here, wait till overnight low. More interested in 370 level of interest. See if sellers can mark the session low right now. Data in 45 seconds. Right back into 500. No new low of day has been made yet. There's your data. Data. Staying patient right now. No position on. Tried that one long that was stopped. Looking a little better. Need some market structure. You've got ES bumping into the overnight high again. That's where the session high is. A little bit choppy here. Choppy choppies. Another rejection of 500. All right, let's see if sellers can actually mark the low right now. Take us into overnight low. Back into session lows, uptick in volume. And 10 minutes till 10 a.m. Personally, still just 0 for 1. Tried that initial long right through this area. Above 500, no follow through. Take the stop. Now staying very patient, like action above 500 or down into that overnight low, downside level of interest area, 370. It's right back into 500 is more than likely going to be a wait till post 10 a.m. Another rejection there at 500. Nasdaq right back into the lows. Chop fest here. Look at the 5-minute. Price has yet to leave that opening 5-minute bar. Tells me everything I need to know right now. So far, there's your typical pre-NFP action here. NQ getting back in a session lows. Current session low is 457. Second short trail to the tick, right? That was a good attempt. At 500, I take it. Good spot for it. Good spot, good spot. Yeah, that's valid. That's a nice trade. That's beautiful. At least volume's decent. Volume's not terrible. 30-minute closing in 2. Yeah, that's a big wick. Big wick. Sellers need to show some follow through on that thing, which would be through the session low. 1 minute till data. Volume just gone now ahead of the data print. We're watching the reaction here. 23,500 is main focus. Coming into 10 a.m. We do have a data print here in 20 seconds. I'm cash. One loss so far this morning. There's 10 a.m. NQ into the lows. Is that a new low? Not quite a new low of day. Get this 5 minute. $450, $455 by 500. It's your current little intraday structure. There you go. There's your new low of day. So I'm looking at overnight low, otherwise just chilling. Just chilling. So far, there's an inside day, right? Here comes the overnight low. Fresh lows post 10 a.m. Down through overnight low. So, like we talked about before the open, main focus was reaction at 500. Check those higher time frames right there. Check them out. There's your weekly volume point of control just as a reference point. Overnight low aligned with prior day volume point of control. 370 downside level of interest aligned with that prior day value area. We do have some pretty good volume here at the overnight low, surprisingly. That's 2x R vol there. So shallow fib, 23% fib. Question is, do sellers reload there and take us to the level of interest, flushing that overnight low spring setup? So it makes a market right there. Decent hold of overnight low so far. It's a little spring setup. Give that one a try. I already trailed it. That sort of trade I do not want to be too aggressive with. So a trail nice and tight. The reason being is because you have a higher time frame level of interest being rejected. I don't want to be the only buyer at the first downside reference point. It's kind of the thought process there. So we're one for two on the morning. We'll see how it continues to develop here. Started the day with a stop. That first long versus 500. I'm curious to see how this 15-minute bar closes in 2 minutes. The rejection there at the 38% fib. Or right back into the lows. If we see a break of the session low, I'm looking for a 370. There you go. New low of day. Good volume there coming in. How's the morning so far for everyone? It's pretty slow on my end. We are 1 for 2. Started the day with a stop, full stop. Fresh lows being made. Again, I'm looking at 370. Either 370 or a intraday change of character. Almost an hour into the sesh. This is still an inside day. Pretty typical pre-NFP action this morning. 5-minute hammer right there. So up above 470, you can see a intraday change of character. Volume really tapering down here. So either, like I said earlier, I either need a change of character intraday, which may come here momentarily, or some action versus 370. All right, potential intraday change of character here. Getting into VWAP, getting into session volume point of control. We've seen price break the most recent lower high. Good volume right now. Just shy of 500. With a rejection at 500. Look at that change in character spot holding as support right there, right at the purple line. Still just with the 2 trades so far this morning. Inside days, some of my least favorite action. Days before a big tier 1 data print, not my favorite. So, focuses on doing less always, always, always. Thirty-minute hammer. Yeah, I'd like to see action above 500. Can we get it? Notice that change of character spot holding quite nicely. I love that. That's just textbook market structure right there. Good volume here at 500. ES just made a new high of day, bumping into overnight high. See how this little microstructure builds out at 500. 500. Overnight low, everything after the prior day close. Yeah, when the new overnight session opens at, I think it's 6 p.m. Everything from there into the regular trading hours open. Considered overnight session. Some people call it pre-market. Just call it overnight. Keep it nice simple. And then our indicator here, just paste it on the chart for you. Those overnight levels, I like them just as reference points primarily. Points of reference. There we go. There we go. Getting into prior day high. One hour into the sesh. ES pretty steady into session high. So we'll see if NQ follows suit here. So if we get a rejection here, more than likely you're looking at the range for today. Let's see. Trailed Ray, did you have the change of character entry or the micro near 500? Or were you riding from the lows? What was the entry? Or did you just short the highs? What was it? Rejected there, back into 500. Is that the range for today? Is that it? Let's see, basically 550 by 410. Let's see the reaction here at 500. Session volume point of control right there, of course. Ray, you had the change of character entry. That was a solid entry. I was trying to grab that in one of my prop accounts, but I was too slow. I like those as like a B quality setup, especially on big volume. That was really nice. Well done. Talking about this entry right through here. Right through there. Basically what you have is that's the point where that intraday structure is shifting. You have a high right through here, lower high, lower high, lower high. Price breaks the most recent lower high. Comes back, retests that point. ES back into overnight high. You got RTY with a rejection of the highs as well. And it's looking more and more like a range day here. We'll see. TMG special, Ray. Yep. TMG is today too. Man, this week it's flying. Anytime you have a 3-day weekend, it just feels like that week. Can't believe it's already Thursday. Yeah, we got the group call after the close. Clean up this chart a little bit. There we go. Indecision. Indecision. Right at the level of interest. What's it gonna be? What's it? Are you pushing or are you pulling? If Albert's still out there. Learn your strategy. Is it the 2 hour trader framework? 2 hour trader framework is one of the setups that I trade. It is not my entire strategy. You cannot really encompass, at least in my opinion, a complete strategy in a course like format. So it's one of the setups that I trade. Free 3 day trial. We do not have a free 3 day trial. It is a paid trial. And that is for community access. Community access, trade reviews, trade psychology, resource items for traders, direct access to send me questions. But there's not a, it's not like a course. So shutting it down, Ray. Yeah, tomorrow should be better. NFP. It's a little choppy this morning. A little range bound. That's typical though. Pre NFP. Talk about it all the time. Got to be doing less on these days. Got to be doing less. Kevin secured daily goal. Good stuff. That's what we like to see. Daily goal on a day like today. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. We're getting there. 2 for 3 on the morning. Start the day with a full stop. Hate that. Starting the day in the hole. You hate it. But we're back to green now. We did the overnight low spring setup, and now we're taking a market structure play versus 23,500. This one's a little more aggressive based on thought process of a range day. But traders trade, right? Traders trade. 300 trades. Oh my goodness, Rich. There's the trail. Trailed out. That's why I always keep those trails in the broker. Keep them in there. I might just call it there with you guys. Way too easy to overdo it on a day like this. Benny overnight high short, nice. Gabe calling it a day, solid. Yeah, it might be about that time. I mean, we're close enough to 11. I'm just gonna wait. We'll just wait and see here. Am I able to know what the setup is called before buying it? It's the 2-hour trader framework. It's called the THT. NQ just kind of caught here between 23,500 and prior day high, overnight high. We're waiting for 11 now. See if we get one more entry. Can't wait to slap the automation, Benny. Yeah, it's in the works. It's in the works. I'll tell you though, automation is that setup is no fan of the chop. Tell you that. But with our I pushed an update yesterday, and I think Mish was saying he went back and looked at August, had like 80% hit rate, which is pretty solid. It's not bad. Automation has its own risks though. Has its own risks. You can have connection issues, you can have signal issues. So you always got to be thinking about risks involved with every aspect of trading. Discretionary trading has issues with emotions, right? It's not a perfect method, but there are ways to kind of negate your risk. Yeah, if you're a degenerate, uh, that may pose an issue, definitely. Thankfully, the automation does not have that issue. That's funny. So let's see, 11 a.m., 4 minutes. Just want to see if we got any setup that kind of aligns post 11 a.m. Holding breath for most trades. Maybe you might be trading too much size there. Or trading without a stop or something like that. Got to look at that. Volume kind of tapering down. Like I said, let's see 11 a.m. here. 1 minute. See if we get some action. See if we get a real fresh high on the day. Size rich. Yeah, that checks out. That makes sense. That'll do it. That'll do it for sure. All right, here's 11 a.m. NQ coming into the top of this little micro structure. Little structure right through here. Doot, doot, doot. Okay. NQ just shy of overnight high. Christian says new high of day incoming. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. I got the Edge Pro X account. Got our last contract here riding. Same idea I took in the personal. See if we get the push. The push. Trails at 509. It's getting real tight now. Stuck here between prior day high and overnight high. Retesting that overnight high. Session high is 548.25. Lifting the trail here up into 522, just below that microstructure. See if the trail gets taken right now. Getting there. There's the trail, trailed out. All right, I'm done for the day. We'll call it right there. Main watch, rest of today is going to be this area right through here. Session high, overnight high, prior day high, with a specific focus on how these higher time frames are really developing. Gonna move lower into a weekly volume point of control. Now we're back up into this area of resistance here. So we do have NFP tomorrow. So like I said, keeping with the low expectations for today. Hope you guys had a good one. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank. And we will be live tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow, post NFP. Thanks for your time. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.